What's up guys, I'm Mystic Mal. Today's video is going to be about the Tetsuya Nomura Kingdom Hearts 4 Game Informer interview that has been released. Before I get too deep into this, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share it with your friends, make sure you like the video, and make sure you hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of my Mystic content. May your heart be your guiding key. Let's grow this Mystic family. Let's get on with this. Okay, to start this off, Game Informer asks, the series recently celebrated 20 years. How does it feel to look back on the last 2 decades, and what do you hope for Kingdom Hearts' legacy? Tetsuya Nomura answered with, I feel like 20 years is a very long time, except it also doesn't feel that way. I completely understand where he's coming from. I have vague memories of visiting the Disney offices in the US, and having meetings throughout the long history that we've had, but when it comes to the memories of the development and just making the actual game, it's kind of fuzzy. It doesn't feel like anything has become a memory because the series is still continuing, and it's all still in real time. The series is always evolving, the stories are still going on regarding the legacy. I suppose the heart is a central theme to the story of Kingdom Hearts. We will continue to depict and tell the story of the heart in different ways. Okay guys, that is very interesting. That means he wants to stay true to the Kingdom Hearts aspect, but he wants to build up from that, which is very cool. You know, I'm completely down with that. And the next thing that Game Informer asks is, the series is known for its cliffhanger finales. Yes, it is true. It is known for this. Like, every single Kingdom Hearts game has some sort of cliffhanger ending or a secret movie at the end when you collect a certain item or complete all the worlds or whatnot. But how did you approach keeping these satisfying but still ensuring fans felt like they had some answers? That is true. I'm not gonna lie, Kingdom Hearts 3 opened up so many questions. It opened up more questions than answers for us. So there's so much theories and discussions, and the speculation is endless. You know, and I'm happy for that, so I can continue making these juicy videos. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you share with your friends as well, please. Tetsuya Nomura answered with every title, we just try to create a game that is contained within itself. There's an actual ending in a sense of each game, which is probably something similar to any game that is made. But since Kingdom Hearts' storyline has so many mysteries and the story is ongoing, there are just so many different things that we can get into. Fans say every time they think they figure out something, there's always a new mystery to be figured out. That's where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm at a point in the story to where there's so many different questions that needs to be answered, and the new games is just not cutting it. It may answer maybe 2% of your questions, but then more questions and your curiosity will just go wild after each game. And we all love that. I mean, that's the main point of Kingdom Hearts, is speculation and theory. That's one of the main things that make Kingdom Hearts Kingdom Hearts. Let's continue on. I suppose it's a combination of just trying to make sure the game is contained within itself and comes to a clear stop. But then also, it's just trying to prepare a new mystery so that fans are aware of that will be important in the next title or the next part of the story that's coming up. Personally, I feel like this approach is not really anything special. It's something that all game developers might consider when they make their games, which is true. There's lots of different plot points and lots of different cliffhangers. Like, there's many other games such as, like, you know, Far Cry or many other games where it ends in a certain way, where it opens up like future plot points to possibly be made, like Sly Cooper, for example. But moving on to the next question. What has been your favorite cliffhanger to see fans' reaction to? The first thing that comes to mind is the ending for the original Kingdom Hearts. Yes, of course, the original ending of Kingdom Hearts is solid. You know, it has a perfect it has a perfect like representation of love, disparity, you know, missing someone that you really care about, friendship, companionship. It has a great representation of all those emotions and moods and feelings. But moving on to Tetsuya Nomura's answer, I feel like that this was really unexpected on the player's part, because people playing the game for the first time probably didn't think that the story would continue beyond that. Also in Kingdom Hearts 3, when Luxu takes off the hood at the very end, and that's when we see Luxu, aka Braig, Xigbar, you know, however you want to call this dude. It's the as-if dude. But moving on to the next question. Did you expect characters from games like Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts 358 to become so popular? That is true. Come on now. Roxas, Axel, and Naminé just take the screen. And Aqua too, Ventus. Terra's kind of in, you know, Terra's walking on eggshells. You know, he's on thin ice. But I feel like people are warming up to him a little bit more. Somewhat of a fan of Terra. You know, I love the Lingering Will variant of Terra. Like, I love Lingering Will. Like, Lingering Will is one of my favorite characters. Even though he doesn't have much dialogue, he is just cool. I mean, just think about it. He could turn his Keyblade into a rocket launcher or something like that, right? But moving on to Tetsuya Nomura's answer. I didn't think that the characters from these two titles would become this popular. I had thought that players wanted to see more of the characters like Sora or Riku. It was kind of unexpected that the characters of these two titles were so well received, as far as including them or continuing their story in Kingdom Hearts 4. The story of Kingdom Hearts 4 is more focused on Sora's disappearance. I'm not quite sure if there will be room to explore the other character stories as much, but I'm aware that the team is aware that these characters are very important and people want to see more of them. So if possible, it would be great to include more of them, or continue to share more of their story in the future opportunities. Okay, this is an interesting one. So you mean to tell me that Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be heavily based around Sora? And like I was saying, is the Sea Salt Trio, the Wayfinder Trio, they're all doing what they have to do to find clues about Sora. We have Kairi training under Master Aqua to become a Keyblade Master officially. So there's lots of different things and plot points that, you know, make it very, very interesting onto why he feels like it's going to be more about Sora, even though he knows that these characters are fan favorites. Even some of these side characters are even more loved than Sora is, right? They can easily throw the whole Guardians of Light team to Quadratum. It can very well be possible. But would it take time? Would they have to, you know, become a Keyblade Master or something like that along those lines to be able to do that, the same way how Riku made a portal from someone's heart to go to Quadratum? You know, there's many different plot points. But moving on to the next question, is another area where we saw Kingdom Hearts popularity surge was seeing Sora in Super Smash. Can you talk about your feelings on having Sora involved? Obviously, I was very happy that we were able to have Sora make an appearance in Smash. Most of the feedback when Sora was announced for Super Smash Ultimate was, I can't believe Disney okayed him to be in this game. Behind the scenes, I was actually the one being very picky about his appearance in Smash Bros. You do a great job and he cares about the game deeply. Tetsuya Nomura cares about the Kingdom Hearts franchise. He cares about the game so much, and he tries his best not to do anything rash that would ruin the series for us fans. This shows how much he loves Kingdom Hearts. But moving on to the next question. And now we are going into the Lost Master arc. How do you follow that up and create fresh conflict with new adversaries? Tetsuya Nomura answered with, Xehanort is a really memorable character. We did take a lot of time to flesh out this enemy's presence throughout the series. It all started with Kingdom Hearts 1, where there's Ansem, and Kingdom Hearts 2 with Xemnas. Basically, these two figures that stem from one person. In the first game, we explored just the heart portion. In the second game, we explored the physical body. It was all led up to the full physical embodiment of the character. I really like that we took the slow burn approach to build up the character. And now we are moving on to the next saga. In the trailer of Kingdom Hearts 4, we mentioned the Lost Master arc. We are going to be delving into a new enemy figure for the continuation of the story. This new enemy has a lot to do with the masked characters, the foretellers, appear at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. There are going to be obstacles that stand in front of Sora. Also in Kingdom Hearts 2.8, we showed what kind of characters they are. So the enemies have already appeared within the series. We'll be introducing them, and obviously there will be more new characters as well. But we really can't go into detail on those characters just yet. Come on, Tetsuya Nomura, tell us, come on. We don't want the secrets, but you know what? I love this because this sparks, curiosity as well as theory, speculation, discussions. But moving on to the next question. Do you feel it's important to keep Sora as the main protagonist? Or do you ever see the series moving beyond him? As far as spin-offs go, we've had main characters that were not Sora. That is true. But in the terms of mainline series, I think Sora is actually the only real candidate for the main character. I think Sora is no longer the main character. Then I would also feel that would indicate the end of the numbered titles. He's that important to the series. That is true. Kingdom Hearts without Sora, or at least some sort of Sora-esque type of things going on, it would kind of not be Kingdom Hearts, like there has to be some sort of link to Sora, for the mainline titles at least. Even though, if Roxas took over as main character, technically it would be Sora, so you gotta think about that. I'm just playing, but moving on to the next question. We saw Donald and Goofy at the end of the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. One question a lot of fans have is how much Disney will we have integrated into the Kingdom Hearts series? With regards to Kingdom Hearts 4, players are definitely going to see few Disney worlds in there. Okay, so that means that cutscene counts as one. So the cutscene where Donald and Goofy are inside of the underworld, that counts as the Olympus Coliseum. So he says that there's going to be few worlds, okay? So that means that basically we're going to have more Quadratum, if anything. Which is interesting, but I feel like, distancing away from the Disney aspect would be a good move, but also a bad move at the same time. Because let's think about it. Kingdom Hearts is what makes, Kingdom Hearts is what we know it as today, is what makes Kingdom Hearts, so so it depends how this whole thing would go. We kind of have to see maybe like a little story trailer, or maybe like an opening cutscene, like the opening movie to Kingdom Hearts 4. We'd probably have to see stuff like that to get more of an opinion about it, right? But moving on to the next question. When did you start working on the ideas and planning for Kingdom Hearts 4? What things did you know you wanted to incorporate early on? Whenever I'm working on a title, I'm already thinking about what I want to incorporate in the next one. That's interesting. So he's already thinking about the next game. I had already started thinking about what I wanted to do with it while making Kingdom Hearts 3. So while he's making Kingdom Hearts 4, he's thinking about what he wants to do for Kingdom Hearts 5. He says that this is more in terms of characters, worlds, or gameplay systems I want to implement. Every time it's the same process, I'm constantly thinking of what to improve or change in the next title. Moving on to the next question. Will we be spending a lot of time in Quadratum? That's a question I wanted to be answered. Does having a more realistic setting gives you bigger opportunity to try new things with the gameplay? I think it will be a pretty good amount of time. So he says that majority of the game will take place in Quadratum, which is very interesting. So that means that there's a possibility of side characters coming on the big screen, as well as other Disney worlds as well. Moving on to the next one. Fans have been very concerned about the lack of Final Fantasy characters in newer entries. I have been, considering this question for a while now, because Kingdom Hearts 1 had, some Final Fantasy characters such as Cid, Tidus, Wakka, Selphie, Yuffie, Leon, the whole gang. But then moving on to Kingdom Hearts 2, it really goes crazy with the Final Fantasy characters, and I love it. We have Auron as well inside of the Olympus Coliseum world. But here's his Tetsuya Nomura's answer. I understand there weren't many Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. One thing I want to clear up with a lot of fans is saying that Kingdom Hearts is this collaboration between Disney characters and Final Fantasy characters, but I really feel like that's not the basic concept of Kingdom Hearts. That's not exactly what Kingdom Hearts is. That is very interesting, okay? Not to cut inside of the answer, but this is very, very interesting. That basically means that Kingdom Hearts is more than just Final Fantasy and Disney. That's why there's different realms, such as the realm of In-Between, the realm of Unreality, the realm of Light, the realm of Darkness. That's why there's different realms and different worlds. There's Disney worlds, and then there's Pixar worlds. Because even though Disney owns Pixar, but Pixar in itself is a universe of its own. And it is a multiverse. Kingdom Hearts is a multiverse of things. So moving on to the rest of his answer is, when we released the first title, we had only a few original Kingdom Hearts characters. When they were interacting with really well-known, beloved Disney characters, I felt nobody really knew these new characters, so it was harder for them to stand their ground just yet. And so we had a lot of Final Fantasy characters involved to lend a hand for everyone to get to know these original Kingdom Hearts characters better. Original Kingdom Hearts characters as in Sora, Riku, Kairi, Aqua, Terra, Ventus, Axel, Roxas, and Xion. Organization 13, Xehanort, those are the original Kingdom Hearts characters. They're not of Disney, they're not of Final Fantasy, they're in their very own universe. But moving on to the next question. Do you want to give one final tease for fans about what they can look forward to very soon? Tetsuya Nomura answered with regards to Kingdom Hearts 4, unfortunately there's not any new information that I'm going to be able to share for a while. And then we have D23 right around the corner, right after summer, D23 is going down. So make sure you pay attention to that, because sometimes Tetsuya Nomura will, bless us with some Kingdom Hearts 4 information with D23. D23 is usually something where Kingdom Hearts is usually at. But moving on to his answer is, but if people could really dive into the interview that we had today, I did reveal a little bit of new information and more details during this conversation, so it'll be great if people could consider that and find new information that way. I also wanted to mention Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. We're working towards launching the closed beta within this year, which is very cool. I know that not everybody is really into smartphone games, so some fans might not be really excited for it, but we are making it so that it's something that anyone can jump right into. Compared to our last mobile releases, it's a lot closer to the series and also connected in many ways to Kingdom Hearts 4. I love that. I love how they added wall running and all that, all of the aspects of being a console title. That's a good move, because that's one of the reasons why people didn't play Kingdom Hearts Key like that. That's why people didn't really enjoy Kingdom Hearts Union Key. People watched it for the story, but they weren't really trying to play the game. They weren't trying to embrace the whole story and gameplay. And this is a great move for all phone titles. As a matter of fact, this changes the smartphone game completely, right? To make it into a different and like a different approach to how a phone game usually is, especially with the past titles of Kingdom Hearts phone games. But the easiest way to get more information and hints about Kingdom Hearts 4 would be to play Missing Link. That's interesting. So there's going to be Easter eggs and story things that relate to Kingdom Hearts 4. Not related to Kingdom Hearts 4 specifically, but just throughout the series in it. Also, some figures that appear in Missing Link are tied to Kingdom Hearts 4 as well. That's all I can really say for now. A lot of juicy things within this whole interview, right? And it's very, very interesting, very, very juicy. But I'll make sure I put the link to this whole interview inside of the description box below. Yeah, but this marks the end of my video. Make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share with your friends, as well as hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of my Mystic content. Mayor Heart, Beer Guide, and Key, let's grow this Mystic family. Peace.